Hey, what's going on? It's Bill Burr, and it's time for the Monday Morning Podcast for Monday, September 21st, 2025. What's going on? How are ya? How's it going? Oh, Jesus there. How was your football Sunday? How was it? Was it a good one? Was it a bad one? I watched my New England Patriots in their throwback Pat Patriot uniforms, which I love. I still wish they would come back with the black cleats. That uniform with the black cleats, going back to I was going to say Irving Fryer. He was the white cleats by then. I was Jim Plunkett. When I first started, Mac Harron way back. Over 50 years ago. I've been watching the Patriots for over 50, probably about 73 or 74. About 5 or 6 years old the first time I remember watching them. With my dad. But anyway, I saw a lot of great things. I saw a lot of bad things. I already feel like Vrabel is the guy. I feel like he's turning this team around. Yes, we had 6 turnovers. Yes, it got ugly there. Yes, all of that stuff. However, there's a lot to be happy with. I mean, we were competitive right to the end of the game, and we were nowhere last year. We were nowhere. So everybody's got to fucking relax and give them more than 3 games to turn this around. So if you just look at today, obviously they're going to work on protecting the football. All right? I mean, that pickoff in the end zone, the ball got tipped. What are you going to do, right? But the fumbles and that type of stuff, just protect the ball better. Just imagine if we didn't turn the ball over, we would have. That's the kind of game we're going to win. And I kind of get the vibe today that we could win like 6 or 7 games this year, and build momentum towards next year. Very conservative number, 6 or 7 games. Some would say maybe I'm getting a little crazy that I think they could win that many. But I think they could win like 6 or 7 games. I think by the end of October, they're going to be a very competitive team. I think they're going to be in a lot of games. I think they're a little bit young, so they're not going to know how to win. Like today, they should have won. They should have beat the Steelers today. They just don't know how to do it yet. It's like, watching your kid learn how to walk. What, are you going to yell at him because he can't run yet? You encourage him. Hey! And he falls on his ass. Good job, buddy. Good job. The football version of that, which is you got to get your fucking heads in the game. I mean, that's how it works, but that's the same thing. It translates. It definitely translates. How about the fucking Jets? What a great game that was. Heartbreaker that they lost it in the end, but if I'm a Jet fan, I'm liking the direction they're going in. That kid fucking blocked the field goal right there at the end, picked it up and ran it in. I mean, they're in my division, and I was going crazy when I saw that. That was fucking amazing. And, I'm not I root for my teams, but I'm not a cunt. All right? Anybody that wishes more misery on Jets fans, I mean, you really got to, if you're wishing more misery on Jets fans, then I also think that you align with people that work for ICE. You know what I mean? Let's go down to Home Depot. These illegal immigrants, they're down here, they're trying to work, and they're scared shitless. And, to pay off my college tuition, I'm going to help throw them in a van. That's the kind of people that see what I did there? I kind of tied it all in there. It made sense in my head. Here's one for you. Is by the way, I got to be honest with you. Aaron Rodgers looks good as a Steeler. That uniform, I wish he didn't shave the beard, though. Wish he had a little bit of that Kenny Stabler silver hair in the beard. Silver whiskers. The grizzled vet taking over one of the oldest teams in the NFL. I don't know. I kind of like it. I had money on the Niners versus the Cardinals. That game's still going on. It's currently 6-3. Is there anything worse than having fucking money on a dog shit game like that? Uh-oh, here comes Billy Conspiracy. Here comes Billy Conspiracy. I've been thinking, oh, Bill, why would you do that? Whatever you do, Bill, don't start thinking. I've been thinking lately a couple of things. One, the genius of making sports gambling legal, aside from all the extra money that the state makes and the league makes, it's basically, you're paying taxes through football games because everybody's, wetting their beak. It's a more exciting way to pay for paying the roads in your state, I guess, at the end of the day. But now that so many more people, I believe, are gambling on football, so many more people are going to hang around and watch a dog shit game to the end, because as much as it's not entertaining, it matters. It matters to your wallet. And then my other thing, the whole, is it a catch? Is it not a catch? The whole ambiguity of that, which gun to my head, I would just flip a coin. I have no idea which way they're going to go. They literally catch the ball and start running with it. And then there's that whole fucking up to interpretation. You can't argue with it. Did the person make the move or not? And that right there is how you fix a football game. Right there. That is the NFL's version of the baseline. I remember when that guy, was it Donaghy, that was fixing games? He said one of your best friends when you're fixing a game is the baseline, or something like calling shit out or whatever when it's in, and vice versa, and all of that type of shit. Calling fouls. The football version to fuck a game. I'm not saying they do this every game, but if there needs to be some fuckery, that's a great place to go. But did he? Because the guys in the booth never know. What do you think's I don't know. Like, they can sit there and say, that's a fumble, that isn't a fumble. Except with the stupid tuck rule. But, like, they know. Did his knee touch the ground before or after? That shit you can't fuck with. But that whole, did he or did he not make a football move? And that is just all, they get on a fucking phone. And they call some guy in New York. I mean, Jesus Christ. What else do you need? What else do you need? I mean, that's like a fucking Bronx Tale. Who are they calling? Chaz Palminteri? Who are they calling in New York? Some Italian guy hanging out in front of a social club? What is going on there? I have no idea. Actually, I don't think there's any Italians involved in it anymore, which really sucks. Because when the Italians did it, you know what I mean? It was a lot more fun. It looked better. The food was great. There was a spread, you know what I mean? Not just on the game. They had the food laid out, all of that shit, and as opposed to these fucking corporate cunts, heartless cunts. So that's my new conspiracy theory, that one of the ways... obviously, you can call holding on any play. But I was watching that Auburn game when that guy caught the ball. He gets tackled. His ass hits the defenders underneath him, so he's never on the ground. The ball flies out of his hands. The guy from Auburn catches it and runs it back. And they're literally going, did he make a football move? Did he make a football move? He ran like 2 steps. He caught the fucking ball, turned and ran a step and a half. At what point? 2 things I'm never going to figure out. Is it or is it not a balk? I don't know what the fuck a balk is, and I don't know what a football move is. And, I just look at it like geometry. Didn't make sense then. Doesn't make sense now. And it's not going to make sense to me in the future. I understand what it's for. And I understand that whatever part of your brain you go to understand it, I do not have access to. It's like when you click on an ad on the internet and it's to some newspaper and you start to read it and then that thing comes up, you need to subscribe. And you're like, I'm not fucking doing this. I'm never going to see that article. I'm not in the circle. I don't have the passcode. All right. Anyway, and with that fucking chatter. Jesus Christ, what the fuck happened to the Saints? I went to turn that game on because the 49ers-Cardinals game was so bad. And that was the game we had out here on the West Coast. And Seattle was up 21-0. They really are that bad, huh? Who's the coach for Seattle? Is it the Michael McDonald? He came from somewhere back in the long ago. Called a flea flicker. Anyway, plowing ahead here. I had a fantastic week. Been working my ass off. Not really been on the road, but been working on some scripts and stuff like that. Some projects with some people I'm excited to work with that I can't talk about yet, but hopefully in the future these projects will come to fruition. I did a road gig last night in Riverside. I hadn't been there in a minute. Played the Fox Theater out there. I want to thank each and every person that came out last night. I had such a great time. And I worked with Dean Del Rey, who I'm telling you has written his best material of his career, is fucking murdering. And I've been using another new comic that I just, well, Dean's not a new comic, but I work a new person into the rotation, you know, because I don't bring cupcakes on the road, and they all of them end up going out headlining. You know, Paul Verzi. Going around the country, fucking destroying. Joe Bartnick going around the country, fucking destroying. So Dean Del Rey is going to be going soon, right? So I always got to have somebody new. So I've been working with this comedian, Ambria Allen, who is fucking amazing. Absolutely murdered last night. Made me laugh out loud twice, which I never do. And, you know, I get like really psyched when the people in front of me are going out doing their thing, and, you know, it just makes for such a great show because the people came out to see the last comic, and I think there's this idea that the ones that they're going to see before that aren't going to be up to, you know, snuff, and then they come out and they fucking murder. Like, I don't know, that's just one of those things where I come out there and I just feel like they already, you know, feel like they're getting their money's worth. All I got to do is just finish this off. So I went out there, tried out a couple of new ones. Some of them went, some of them didn't. But, you know, I'm going to try to jump on stage again tonight, recording this Sunday, because I got some road gigs. I'm going to Saudi Arabia and Bahrain this week. Really excited to head out there for that. There's some big festival out there to go out there and go meet the Bill Burr, you know, of fucking Saudi Arabia and Bahrain. You know, it's kind of a great thing to travel the world like that, you know. And I don't know. I'm not going to be there long. Of course, it's going to be hot. It's going to be like, you know, over 100 degrees, I think. Jeez Louise. But I'm going to try to see whatever I can see. And it's kind of cool, man. When you do stand-up comedy, it's amazing. Like, when you do your act, you can learn so much about people in whatever country you're in or whatever city you're in by what they laugh at, the way they laugh at it, they pull back or whatever. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. And what else do I got going on? I've been off the internet for, I don't know. And by off the internet, I mean, I just kind of I stopped being on Instagram. You know? Like the same way I stopped drinking. I had to get off it because I loved it. And I wanted to do it less, and I was finding that trying to do it less was not my decision. I was really like, I had to work at it. So like, I still go on Instagram every day in that, like, towards the end of the day, I go on and I basically just check my DMs in case somebody reached out to me, and I don't people thinking that I'm a dick blowing them off or whatever. But then I immediately get off. So all I really do is I go on Duolingo. I've been crushing my French like this. They got this AI chick, Lily, and she used to hang up on me like really quick. I was telling you this the other day. Now I'm having like 5, 6, 7-minute conversations with her, and I'm starting to fill in some gaps on how to say different things. And she used to just roll her eyes and be like, "Bad problem," and then just fucking hang up on me. A bientôt, au revoir, à la prochaine, and just whatever. She had like 50 ways of being like, "All right, I'm done talking to you. I am done talking to you." Anyway, all of that stuff has been going good, but I've been like off the internet, and over the last couple of weeks, there's been some really like big stories, and you hear about the bigger ones, but I'm just like kind of away from the hysteria, like all of that crazy stuff that happened out in Utah. I have not seen, nor do I ever want to see the video of that happening to anybody. I don't know why people would want to click on and watch somebody die. Is like, there's no way to watch stuff like that and it doesn't do something like, I used to do this bit in my act a long time ago where I viewed your soul like it was like pixelated. And every time, every time you look at something like that you shouldn't have seen, that's psychologically damaging, it's like you lose a couple of cubes. Like, it does something to you. So, anyway, I've been just off the internet, and I got to be honest with you. Like, the internet is not fucking real. As far as, like, what I kind of finally realized is, like, you go into a library. Remember, you guys remember books? I almost forgot about those things. You go into a library, and the library has shit divided into fiction and nonfiction. You go on the internet and there's only one category, nonfiction. Everybody is spinning it. I'm telling you the truth. And I got to be honest, I don't have the capacity to handle it anymore. I am like, I don't know if other people can. If you can, God bless you. It's like some people, like there's people my age that still drink and they can handle it. They can go out on a Friday night and have a couple of drinks or have one like really nice glass of wine with dinner. I wish I could do that. I can't fucking do it. And I really realized that I have sort of been like addicted to the internet for close to 30 years. Like the first time I got a laptop, in the late 90s, for like 25 fucking years. I have just been on there. I don't know what doing. I don't know what I've been doing. I've been watching porno, watching people get kicked in the balls, fucking looking at cars and shit. I still like doing like that, like looking at cars and shit. But I'm going to like kind of go away like I did with cigars. Still have not smoked a cigar since fucking January. I had a talk with my daughter today. I said, you know what? I think I'm going to have a few in October. But then I want you to get back on me and say I have to go another 100 days. And she goes, all right, cool. How many are you going to have? I say, well, usually you let me have 5. She goes, all right, cool, 5. So I said, all right, that's what I'm going to do. So, I don't know. That's kind of where I'm at. So, I'm not saying you have to get off the internet. I'm not saying you got to do it. I'm not going to be one of those guys like you see on the internet. Like if I was making an Instagram video, I would say, you're getting off the internet and now you instantly feel better. Even though this is posted on the internet. So I guess that's not even my idea, looking at it like drinking. I saw this thing that said being on a social media app like Instagram is 5 times worse than drinking. I also saw that on the internet. So It's 5 times worse. By what analytics? I don't fucking know. All I can say is that you can literally go out and learn to play an instrument, speak a new language, get a pilot's license, learn how to cook something. You can just do all of these amazing things with that time that you're going on there. With shit that I just feel is, it's, you know, it's really, it's out there to make you feel bad, man. And all of this crazy shit that's like happening like right now. I mean, I don't know. We're living in a world, for the first time ever, we're living in a world where a president cannot handle monologue jokes that are made about him, that's a new one. I hope they bring Jimmy back. I mean, what the fuck are we doing? This is insane. You know, it's funny because I'm reading this book on Enzo Ferrari right now, and they're talking about that period where Mussolini was coming up. Mussolini, all these dictators have a group. You know, Hitler, I think, had brown shirts. Mussolini had black shirts. You know, Trump has ICE. You know, that's the thing that worries me about ICE. It's like, okay, when they get rid of all the illegals, they still have those vans. And they still have Alligator Alcatraz. Then who's going in the van? And when you have someone with the dictator mindset, somebody always has to be going in the van. When you lead by fear, when you lead by division, that is the key. The key is division. You got to make sure people are fucking scared to open their fucking mouths. I don't know. But I will say, like, these fucking corporate assholes at the top, the shit that they will do. They will fuck their own country over. They will say fuck freedom of speech. They'll say all of that. And it's just like 6 of them. Just so a merger or some fucking money thing can go down. And they can get their 7-8 figure, whatever the fuck they're trying to get, bonus. It's really gross. Like, why aren't they going into vans? Fucking throwing people in there. What are they doing? Making papooses in the back of a fucking restaurant? Like, what happened to the people eating the dogs and all of this shit? All I see is just fucking people that are trying to work and escape a bad situation and try to make a better... I mean, to have no empathy for that. You know what I mean? To pay off your college loans, taking children out of mothers' hands, the kind of people that can do that. And you can go to bed at night and block out those blood-curdling screams as you close the van door. You know, those are the kinds of people that are signing up for that job. They wear a mask to work. And you're telling me when they're done with all the illegal aliens, and you're telling me when whoever's in power flips the switch to somebody else, that all they don't have to do is just, you know, now we'll give you a little house if you start putting naturalized, you know, just actual citizens in there that don't line up with who need to be re-educated, all of that fucking bullshit. That's how that works. It goes down quick. Anyway, or I could just be babbling. Who knows? What is the woke shit? No, you know what it is? It's my fucking opinion. And at this point, I am still allowed. I'm still allowed to speak it. I will tell you this. I don't know why Donald Trump writes books on business. He should really write a book on vengeance, because I've never seen anybody better at it. I feel like Shakespeare would be like, God damn, dude. Wow. Anyway. Well, we'll see what happens. It's out of my hands. I don't know how to stop it. All right. Squarespace, everybody. Let's do some reads for this week. Squarespace. Squarespace is the all-in-one website platform designed to help you stand out and succeed online. Whether you're just starting out or scrolling your business, Squarespace gives you everything you need to claim your domain, showcase your offerings with a professional website, grow your brand, and get paid all in one place. From consultations to events and experiences, showcase your offerings with a customizable website designed to attract clients and grow your business. Get paid on time and with professional on-brand invoices and online payments. Squarespace makes it easy to showcase your expertise and engage clients with video content on your website. Upload and organize your videos, create stunning video libraries, and even monetize your content by adding a paywall. Perfect for online courses, exclusive tutorials, and premium workshops. Make smarter business decisions with Squarespace's intuitive, built-in analytic tools. Review website traffic, learn to focus engagement, and track revenue from bookings, invoices, or product sales, all from one place. For a free trial, you can check out whatever. They don't have my thing here for some reason. I keep meaning to tell them. I don't have my unique URL for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, you use the offer code Burr, BURR, to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. That's squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, use the offer code Burr, BURR, to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. All right. Okay, I guess this is another read here. You know what? I always bring my glasses, and then I never use them. I think it's time to put them on here. All right. Okay, who is it? Oh, look who it is. It's Mizzen in Maine. Mizzen and Maine, like Turks and Caicos. Mizzen in Maine. You know the saying, look good, feel good? Well, the problem is most dress clothes only check one of those boxes. Sure, they look sharp, but they're stiff, hot, and high maintenance. Well, that's the truth. That's why I don't like fancy clothes. Every time you rub up against something, you're like, oh, get in a cab, all of a sudden, you're aware of everything. Anyways, which makes it hard to actually feel comfortable. That's why I'm such a fan of Mizzen in Maine. Mizzen in Maine makes classic menswear with performance fabrics. So it's effortless to look sharp and feel great. All right, I'm already a big fan of performance fabrics. Mizzen in Maine actually invented the performance fabric dress shirt over 10 years ago, and since then they've perfected it with modern fabrics. Mizzen in Maine shirts and pants look fine, yet they're stretchy, lightweight, moisture-wicking, wrinkle resistance, and completely machine washable. No ironing or drying or dry cleaning. When you put their clothes on, you'll feel the difference instantly. Professional style that's actually comfortable, whether you're in the office, on the road, or even out on the golf course. It's timeless style you can invest in once and enjoy for years. That's why thousands of guys swear by Mizzen in Maine when they want to look great without the hassle, man. Right now, Mizzen in Maine is offering our listeners 20% off your first purchase at mizzenandmaine.com. Promo code BURR20. BURR20. That's Mizzen, spelled MIZZEN, and Maine, MAIN.com. Promo code Burr for 20% off. Mizzenandmaine.com, promo code BURR20. And if you'd rather shop in person, you can find Mizzen in Maine stores in select states. All right, there's one more. There's one more read here. Quo. Oh, formerly Openphone. They got bought out already. These guys must know what they're doing. Quo. QUO. You might know it as Openphone. Is one of those tools that can really help business owners. It's the same great business phone system you heard me talk about before, just with a new name. And here's why it matters. If you're running a business, every missed call is money left on the table. Think about the last time you had a plumbing emergency. If the first plumber didn't answer, did you wait? Or would you call the next one on the list? Chances are, if you're not a dope, you moved on. With Quo, 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 Quote, quote, quote. Take it easy there. Formerly Openphone, you'll never miss a chance to connect with your customers. Quo gives you a dedicated business number that works right from an app on your computer or on your phone or your computer. You and your team can share one number, reply to a customer faster, and keep everything organized so nothing slips through the cracks. Quo even keeps your phone covered after hours so leads don't disappear while you're away. And if you've ever sat through a long business call and couldn't remember what was actually said, subtext, if you microdose your favorite drug and you kind of flaked, you're not alone. Quo's call transcripts and summaries capture the conversation and give you follow-ups. So no more taking notes or losing track of next steps or getting busted for being high at work. Join over 90,000 businesses already using Quo. Quo, take it easy. Formerly Openphone. To stay ahead, go to Quo, QUO.com/Burr to get started with a free trial and get 20% off your first 6 months. That's QUO.com/Burr. You can even bring your existing number with you for free. Quo, no missed calls, no missed customers. You know what's funny about that Mizzen in Maine? I mean, the genius of that is they realized somewhere along the line that our food supply had been turned into poison. And no matter how much you get on an elliptical, your body and your joints are just going to give out before the poison you eat every day is going to. You're going to become a fat fuck. All that shit that they're talking about, uncomfortable clothes, means you're fucking out of shape. That's why you're sweating. That's why everything sucks. All right? So get in shape. When you're in shape, your clothes feel good. That's a slippery slope. Slippery slope. Or you get in shape and you wear Mizzen in Maine and think how good your man tits will feel. I don't know. I have no idea. All I know is that when I'm a fat fuck, my clothes don't feel good. All right, let's plow ahead. Okay, this is some fantastic information that we got from a listener. Now, as I mentioned before, you know, the ancient Greeks, there's two mindsets during a debate, okay? The philosophia, philanokia. Philanokia is the love of victory. Your ego is attached to the point that you made, to the point that even if somebody gives you new information that debunks your old information, your pride won't let you let it go. If your brain is in the philanokia, which is what I'm trying to become, which is the love of knowledge, you're not married to your opinions. You can actually get new information and be like, oh, I didn't realize that. You're right. And this is a great example of this. A few weeks ago, I was talking about War of the Worlds. I used it as an example, and I quoted what I learned in my college from a professor that told me the original broadcast of War of the Worlds, they just broke into it. They tried to trick people. People believed it. They got so freaked out, they never thought to turn the channel. Some people actually killed themselves. That is what I've heard my whole life. I never bothered to look it up. Anyway, this person says, War of the Worlds. Bill, I wanted to clear up a few misconceptions about the War of the Worlds radio presentation that you mentioned. And this guy's cool because he said a few misconceptions. It was all of my misconceptions. It was my entire conception of War of the Worlds. I was completely wrong. Listen to this. A few of the things you pointed out have been fabricated and made up over time. The broadcast wasn't intended to trick anyone. There were repeated announcements of a radio show that had to do with an alien invasion. A small and debatably significant portion of the audience was carryover from another popular radio show on another station. That show ended a few minutes after the hour, and those who switched over to the channel War of the Worlds was being broadcast on were met with a fake news report. Only a third of the listeners even believed it to be Martians. They were listening to it casually. They assumed that it was another invasion from another country, given that it was 1939, okay? A couple of years before Pearl Harbor was, what year was Pearl Harbor? 1940, December 7th, right? So a year before that. Newspapers were growing threatened by growing popularity of radio, so ran with the story and fabricated every aspect of it in order to make the claim that the radio should not be as trusted as print. They sensationalized it. Hitler even agreed with this notion, making note of the hysteria. Oh, would you look at that? Doesn't that sound familiar? Fake news. Fake news. But this was actual fake news. And then newspapers exaggerating. This is crazy. This is just, it's been going on forever. There's no actual records of anyone killing themselves. The story of hysteria has become much larger than the hysteria ever was. Thanks for the free podcast. Dude, thank you so much for this. I actually looked it up on the internet, but I think Google is, as long as you don't click on somebody's thing, it backed up everything that you were saying. Not my whole life. Since I was in college over 35 years ago, I had a professor that went along with what they saw and told this to my class. And I'm like, well, I'm in college and I'm paying for this. This must be true. Turns out it was completely false. That is wild. But when you break down the reasons for it, it totally makes sense and, is really relevant to today. So there goes all my shit. Get off the internet, man. Start reading books. I don't know. If you were to guess the number one commandment that is broken, you got to say it's lying, right? It's kind of the easiest commandment to break. A lot of the other ones involve planning, killing somebody or whatever. All right. Anyway, let's get out of that mire. All right. Well, thank you for that information. I had no idea, and now I can pass that on to the next person who used War of the Worlds. I'm waiting for the Emperor's new clothes. This is a big thing. The Emperor actually had clothes on. All right, Glenn Gary. Hey, Billy, bleach balls. Come on, man. Don't I have enough hang-ups? I'll tell you what I did do this week that was amazing. Is I got a motorcycle that I'm gonna sell. It's not my Harley. I absolutely love that thing. I had a smaller one, a little Royal Enfield, and was what I kind of got my feet wet back on riding that thing. And I don't need it now because all I do is ride the Harley, so I'm going to get rid of it. And but I had to ride it back to my house so I could give it to a buddy of mine so he could sell it. And it was like a 20-mile ride through the valley. And I had a great fucking time. I had a great time riding that thing. It's severely underpowered to ride in traffic, I can tell you that. And what was funny was when I got closer to my neighborhood, I got off the main drag, and I was kind of cutting through like the hills in the valley, and thinking that would be safer than being on like the main drag. Was not the case. There's just all of these blind turns and everything. So I was just hugging the curb on my side, which was great because this work truck, cut the corner a little bit sharp. I still would have been fine, but it just would have been closer than I needed. But it was a lot of fun. I am really becoming a fucking motorcycle guy. The smart part of my brain tells me not to, but then the part that needs to fucking chill out enjoys it because there's something about it where you have to concentrate the whole time you're doing it. It just clears your brain. But whatever. I'm just going to continue to ride around the airport. I'll be smart. Somebody was telling me, though, that there was one of the criterias for becoming a fighter pilot back in the day was the question, did you ever own a motorcycle? And they wanted you to say yes. And then when they said, did you get rid of it? They wanted you to say yes. So they wanted you to have the balls to ride a motorcycle, but also be smart enough to get rid of it. And they're like, all right, this is the guy. I don't know if that litmus test worked. Is that how you say it? But it's interesting either way. All right, Glengarry, everybody. Hey, Billy Bleachballs. During your Glengarry run on Broadway, you expressed excitement about the experience, that there was much you wanted to share on the podcast, but said you would speak more about it after the production was over. A few weeks back, you got into this a little bit during your conversation with Carol Leifer. She was one of my favorite guests of all time, man. She was fantastic. This person goes on to say, it's fascinating to hear the inside baseball of how a stage ensemble refined their collective process as the production went on, how choices are made to challenge one another or to help each other out. Please consider sharing more stories or insights to how the Glengarry experience has changed your approach to acting. You got to work with some of the best in the business. Yes, I did. So let's hear about it. Also, it's been a minute since you've done stand-up in Central Florida. Yes, it has. It has. I love Florida. I mean, just the fucking fact that you guys coexist with alligators is pretty goddamn amazing. Alligators, hurricanes. I mean, that is not a state for the weak. Rising oceans. Anyway, please consider coming to Melbourne, Florida. It's on the coast, about an hour southeast of Orlando. We have a great theater called the King Theater. Okay, the King Center. Oh, do you? I'm going to look that up. I love an old theater. Carlin, Seinfeld, Gaffigan. Well, there's a murderer's row of comedians. And more have all played there. It would be great for you to come through to spew your thoughtful ignorance. You know, that's one of the best compliments I've ever gotten on my act, I think, or best descriptions. Thoughtful ignorance. That's a good name for a special, but you already did it, so I can't use it. Thanks and go fuck yourself. Bill Burr, thoughtful ignorance. It's a little too highbrow. It's a little too clever. That's probably why I didn't come up with it and you did. Anyway, did I mention that I saw Adam Sandler? Did I mention that I saw him at Madison Square Garden? If you want a fucking great vibe at a show, go to an Adam Sandler show. That guy's the best. All right. And that's the second time I've seen him do the Chris Farley song. I don't know how I get choked up every time I watch that. I don't know how he gets through it. He actually knew the guy. I was just a huge fan, and I get choked up every time I watch it. All right. Grateful Dead show recording. Oh, bringing up music. I love music. Bill, what are you working on right now? I am working on my single-handed 16th note. Still doing that. And my eventual playlist that I want to be able to play along to and not have any fatigue. This is what I've been going with. And I just sort of play to these songs in my head at a slower tempo. But the playlist that is named James Gadsden is a Bill Withers song called Kissing My Love. Then there's this incredible song by Rufus that later became Rufus and Shaka Khan, You Got the Love, which is incredible just for drummers in general because it starts off with quarter notes that then go to eighth notes, that then go to 16th notes, then go back to eighth notes, and then it rides out with the 16th notes. All of this stuff, the tempo is between like 95 and 100 BPMs. And it's played with one hand. And the last one is the Dave Grohl guest drumming with Killing Joke, the Death and Resurrection show. So I've been playing those beats at like, 75, 80 BPMs. Like I start at like 70, 75, work up to like 80. And then, things start getting tight in my arms. So I stop so I don't hurt myself. And that's what I've been working on, as opposed to and then the usual just sort of noodling around these 16th note triplet licks that I have, tying them all together. And then, and I got like these the classic quads, and then playing the bottom left, right kick, but as 16th notes with a quarter hi-hat. That I got from this. Who did I get that from? That was an exercise I saw. I can't remember. Where I get this shit from, but that's what I've been working on. I'm babbling here. Let's get back to the thing here. All right, Grateful Dead show. Oh. Oh my God. Grateful Dead show recording. Listen to this one. Hey, Mr. Tangerine Man. Dude, I gotta be, the fucking left, these things are, it's perfect. Hey, Mr. Tangerine Man. I gotta tell that one to Nia. She's gonna love that one. On the 9/8 edition, I was hoping that was some sort of time signature, of the Monday Morning Podcast, you mentioned that you had seen the Dead at Sullivan Stadium in 1989. Great summer for them. It must have been an unreal environment. It was incredible. It was incredible. I was like, I just got to be like a spectator, and like, you had like the people that were just catching the local Dead show. And then but I also sort of wandered into the actual traveling economy of Deadheads, and was watching them, selling their wares, be it weed or clothes they had made, drum circles, and, before drum circles became a bad thing. I don't know what happened. Somehow drum circles got tied in with like emasculated fathers, or I don't know. And then it was in the middle of Connecticut. It just really went off the rails. It's like anything. It starts off, it's cool. Then it gets a little wind in its sails. It meets maximum sort of exposure, and then it just ends up at the mall. You may or may not be aware of the extensive Grateful Dead taping culture and extensive catalog of recordings of all their live performances. I was not. Most of it exists on the Internet Archive. I went and found a quality recording of your show. Here for your listening pleasure and nostalgia. Get the fuck out of here. It claims it looks, I see 0702. No, that's not a date. I was 72. Would that be July 2nd? I remember it was the summer. And I saw that keyboard player was with them still before he unfortunately passed away. Always a sad thing. There's nothing. That's just the saddest thing ever to me. He was a great musician on the road, passing away in like a hotel room. I think that's what happened with that guy. This happened to a lot of people. And a few comedians, unfortunately. Well, I will definitely check that out. All right. Jesus, Lincoln, and JFK fun conspiracy. Oh, my God, dude. What are you doing to me on this one? All right. This is just combining, like, did Trump need to sign off on this one? Like the president signs off on mergers like this. Jesus, Lincoln, and JFK fun conspiracy. Hey there, babbling Billy Boy Burr. Sometime a year or more ago, you mentioned a president taking on the banking system, which prompted me to write in eventually. I figured I would share my homegrown conspiracy theory on why this doesn't happen that often. In a way, the thesis statement is, If you mess with the dough, you've got to go. This is how I line up Jesus, Abraham Lincoln, and John F. Kennedy. Dude, this conversation right here makes me miss day drinking. Because this is the kind of shit you would walk into. If you just could get that quiet guy at the end of the bar to open up, this is what it ended up coming out. All right, with Jesus, no one really cared that this weird dude out in the wilderness was calling himself the Son of God, healing the sick and lame, raising the dead, and turning dirty food water into Manischewitz. Is that how you spell it? Jesus Christ. But as soon as he kicked over the money chargers table, which is Matthew 21:12-17, is that how you say it? They had him pinned to a piece of wood by the next Friday. Oh, Jesus, he fucked with the dough, so he had to go. Abraham Lincoln created the greenback to fund the Union Army during the Civil War, which had its problems. Then he established the federal banking system around 1863 and 1864. His administration faced opposition from a chaotic and fragmented system of thousands of private state-chartered banks. And we see what happened to him. Shot in the head in public. All right, 2 for 2 here. These are people that are dying, and they both messed. I don't quite understand what. I mean, when Lincoln did this, I mean, this was like, you just said, it was a chaotic and fragmented system of thousands of private state-fund chartered banks. But I guess they all got together and I don't know. JFK signed Executive Order 11110 in 1963, which gave executive permission to the U.S. Treasury to print currency backed by silver. These are also known as a Kennedy notes and are collectibles nowadays. Again, shot in the head in public. Rattle these 3 nuggets around your fair freckled dome. If you're still thinking about getting a dog, I recommend going with the German Shepherd. We were thinking about that today. Great family dog. Your work on Star Wars and as an animated turtle are stellar. Thank you. Thanks for the laughs. My best to the lovely Nia and the kids. And as always, go fuck yourself. You know what? Now that I'm off the internet, I have time to read about stuff like that. The Enzo Ferrari book is amazing, by the way. What really is amazing is I find with all of these like super successful, driven men in history that changed an industry, you know, and become an icon, and it's like they die, but their name never does. You know, there's this theory out there that behind every great man is a great woman. I don't know about that. I feel like behind every great man is a bitter, resentful woman that you didn't spend enough time with. I mean, something has to give. Unless you marry a woman as driven as you, like Bill Clinton did with Hillary, like, she's there for the status. She didn't marry Bill Clinton to go to brunch. All right? She married him to get into the fucking Illuminati, the Bilderberg Group, and all of that. She is like, they are 2 peas in a fucking pod. But all these other guys, they just always have like some sort of, you know, just awful marriage, failed marriage, or whatever. That's what I'm finding with like Enzo Ferrari. That he married a cafe singer and sometime prostitute. Hey, the guy liked to have a good time. He liked fast cars and fast women, just like that guy in Stripes. Anyway, I always get sad when I read that. Oh, Billy the Romantic. I always want him to have both. Like, you couldn't make a Ferrari and keep your woman happy? Those beautiful cars, convertibles, you couldn't take her for a ride? You know, you're not building the cars. They're down there building them. Take her out to breakfast. Make her laugh. Anyway, 43-year-old single guy. Hey, Bill, I'm a 43-year-old and trying to figure some things out. Hey, dude, I didn't get married till I was 45. He goes, I got divorced about 5 years ago and then spent a full year completely alone. Not even a single date. I don't think that's a bad thing. You know, you were married for 5 years. You gave yourself 12 months to fucking... You got to remember who you are. You know, there's a lot of fucking shit out there about women losing themselves in relationships and coming out and having to, you know, get back in touch with themselves, which is 100% true, but that's a two-way street. It happens both people. If you're in a relationship that doesn't work out, both of you guys got your head spun around one way or the other. So I recommend being alone like that. That's good. The person goes on to say, after that, I wound up in a really toxic relationship that dragged on for almost 2 years. All right, now you got to start looking in the mirror there. Maybe go to therapy, figure out what you're doing here. He said, I've been out of that for about a year now, and I haven't been with anyone since. Been trying to put the work in on myself. I go to a boxing gym about 4 days a week, drop 20 pounds. I like this. Seeing a counselor twice a month. There you go. Dude, I could take some advice from you. I need to do that. And I've got a really good job where I supervise about 25 people on a plumbing and welding crew. I also play and write the music in a metal band. I'm sorry, dude. Are you living the fucking dream right now? You got a great job. You're boxing. You drop 20 pounds. You're talking to somebody to work on yourself. And you write music and play in a metal band? Dude, like, it's just like... He said, think Lamb of God, Pantera. And I don't know this band. Amon Amarth? I'm going to check them out. If they're in the vein of Lamb of God and Pantera. Chris Adler, Vinnie Paul. Art Cruz now with Lamb of God. See, I know them all, man. But here's the thing. I've never felt more depressed in my life. Yeah, you know why, dude? Because you're still a human being. You need to find love. That's all right. That's all right. You know, it's good that you know that. He said, most days I'm just going through the motions and putting on a fake persona to get through the day. But when I'm home, the feeling of desperation and loneliness is almost too much. I've got people you could technically call friends, but I never hang out with them. Well, why don't you hang? I'm terribly introverted and deal with pretty severe social anxiety. All right, well, this is good. You're talking to a counselor. And why don't you do this? Why don't you start with just one hang a month? One day a month. I love that you have all of this anxiety, but you're playing in a band. I mean, this is very typical of, you know, people that perform. I still have a lot of social anxiety. And I go to events and just, you know, I want to, you know, air quote, want to get the fuck out of there. The reality is I don't know how to, like, do it. So I get in my head and then I'm just, you know, I'm a mess. So I relate to that. This person goes on to say, I've been listening to your podcast for years and I'm looking for some advice. What would you tell a guy who's done all this work on the outside but still feels like he's barely holding it together on the inside? Appreciate your time and thanks for all the laughs. Go fuck yourself. Dude, I think you're doing amazing. I was going to say to talk to a professional. It seems like you're doing that. Maybe, you know, I would be, if you want to grow this is just my opinion, and I'm not a professional, obviously. I have found that you have to give yourself permission to fail. So you have this anxiety. I would just, once a month, once a week, whatever you can handle. Like I literally, back in the day, I used to say to myself, I am going to go into the deli and I am going to make small talk with the person behind the register. And by small talk, all it literally was just saying, hey, how are you? And they would say good or whatever. And if they said, if I said, hey, how's it going? And they said good. And then if they said something back, yeah, I'm doing good. You? Yeah, I'm fine. I would count that. And that would be a victory. And then, I would just use that to just expand. It's the same thing like you got a band, right? And let's say that you're selling tickets in the town that you're in, but the next town over, they don't know you. So that's the next step. Let's be known in 2 towns, and then 3 towns, and then in this county, and then in this city, and then in this state, and that's how you do it. I mean, obviously, you don't have to be that big with your social life. So you just sort of baby step your way out of this stuff. And, I actually think that the anxiety and all of that, a lot of times that's what steers you in to performing, being in a band, being a comedian, being an actor or whatever, giving tours of your city and you're the person on the microphone. Like it's like human beings need some sort of interaction, human interaction. So it's actually a positive thing that you're depressed. If you weren't depressed and you were spending this amount of time alone, you might be a psycho. So the fact that you're depressed, this is all, I think normal, and your soul telling you that this person by yourself is not who you are. You're actually a really social person, and you're actually going to be good at it. It's just whatever happened to you as a kid, which you'll work out through counseling, you just need to push through it. And I've found with therapy that there's a lot of shit in your head that you think it's a mountain because it happened to you when you were a little kid. So your universe was really small, so these problems seem gigantic. And by the time you're an adult, it really ends up just stepping up onto a curb. And I still, to this day, I will make a mountain out of a molehill. I get all in my head that these ideas, these things, I make rules in my head that I can't do. I can't do it. And I have worked really hard to push that voice down, to tell it to shut the fuck up. Anything I could do. Like if I would think something, I would, I read things to cancel it out loud, which was a weird period in my life because I would be walking down the street next to people and all of a sudden randomly I would just say out loud, no, fuck that. So you're not alone, dude. I am in a lot of ways still where you're at. And it's caused problems in my relationship because my wife is very social and she sees who I really am at home, and then I go out and I pull back or I get negative and I start trashing. I go to my safe space, and I start trashing wherever we go, and it ruins her good time, and then she gets mad at me, and then I get mad, blah, blah, and it just becomes this fucking nightmare. So I've really had to work on being like, take a deep breath, no one's going to beat the fuck out of you. No one's going to hurt you. Nothing bad's going to happen. You're literally just going out to dinner. I've literally had to do that. So, if I can do it, so can you. I think you're doing the right thing. You're putting the work in, and you're going to get on the other side of it. And then one day, like I'm trying to help you, you're going to try to help somebody else. And that's how it works. Okay? So, good luck to you. I think you can do it. And I'm really psyched that you play in a fucking metal band. I think that's cool as shit. You actually writing the music. That's pretty awesome. All right, there you go. There's my positive words for the week. That is the podcast for this week. Enjoy Monday Night Football tonight, whatever you like doing. I'm telling you, man. Fucking, how about you have your phone upstairs and you go downstairs and you just leave it up there for a few hours. And you know what's exciting is you come up to it. How many text messages did I get? Instead of having to respond to them. And then you can just knock them all out. And I don't know, maybe go play with your kid or go for a walk. Go play drums, you know? Go in your backyard, lay on your back and look up at the fucking clouds. Something that doesn't involve comments and being judged and anxiety. And enjoy the fucking day. That's it, all right? Go fuck yourselves. What am I going to do? I'll check in on you on Thursday. All right.